At this time, I'll call the Oak Island Town Hall meeting and public hearings of August 13th, 2019 to order. And I'll start off by saying we have a slight problem with our attorney is stuck in traffic. So this agenda we're going to start with the adjustment of the agenda, and then when our attorney gets here, because several of the public hearings he needs to be present for, and then we'll jump back over to the public hearings.
We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, we're going to start. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Scotty. So we'll start by Pledge of Allegiance, but first of all, I'd like to say thank you for coming and welcome to our town hall meeting. Good to see everybody out. Councilman Blaylock, would you like to give the Pledge of Allegiance in the prayer? Thank you.
Pledge allegiance first, or first? No, we're going to pray first, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably the best thing to do.
That's what happens when Brian's not here. Go ahead.
Dear Heavenly Father, bless us as we come together tonight to do the business of our town and to look out for those who have special needs. Also, please, Lord, give us the wisdom to make the right decisions that's best for the community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Blaylock.
You're welcome.
This time we'll start with the adjustment or amendment to the agenda. We have no presentations tonight, so we're going to skip that part. Does any of the council have any amendments to our agenda?
Mr. Kelly, did you have one?
Brian's going to add an item when he gets here. Yes, ma'am. We're going to need to discuss the 801 lease agreements.
So we're amending it to add that to new business?
New business number 2.
New business number 2, 801 lease. Okay, anything else? I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. We're going to move into the public comments of the agenda. And has everyone had the opportunity to sign up that wishes to speak? Everyone? Okay, Lisa, do we have anyone to speak tonight? I'm assuming that you guys know that there's 3-minute limit and then to tell us your name and your address when you go to the podium before your 3 minutes start.
Sharon Deepa? If you'll approach the podium, please. Yes, I have that, thank you.
Hi, I'm Sharon Dieppe. My husband and I have over 780 hours volunteering in the Oak Island Sea Turtle Protection Program. In the years 2016, 17, and 18. In 2018, we were made nest parents. All TTPs were given the same guidelines. By Matthew Godfrey, the Raleigh official. Each head can make additional guidelines on how to implement them. Some TTPs publish all turtle information, 3 do not, but at OKI, information is considered top secret. What is needed on OKI is a total redo. I understand the current program coordinator will not return in 2020. But the problem still exists. At no time did the Raleigh official state that a do not post on turtles information is required. Also in July, Dr. Godfrey stated the only reason for the program is data accumulation. Believe me, after spending all those hours with these endangered turtles, never have I seen anyone harm a turtle at a boil or an excavation, or even heard of an incident. So Dr. Godfrey's state numbers are protected. Residents, tourists, and nest parents alike are treated as problems for the OKI TPP. Remember, residents have businesses here, pay taxes, vote, and are interested in this program. And tourists spend a lot of money here. They could decide to spend it at a friendly beach. We need to change this totalitarian front to a friendly beach turtle organization. We need this, number one, for the posting of addresses, dates, location, boils, excavations at the rec center and their website. Number two, tourists love getting turtle information from the nest parents, such as the size of the baby, the size of the mom, and all the other information the nest parents can relay to them. Knowledge could save a turtle. Number three, nest parents learn to be polite and smile when talking with visitors. We get a lot of complaints about nest parents. Number four, it is felt that the more understanding of these precious turtles only helps the survival rate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ishmael Deepa.
Go ahead to the podium, but I do have a question. If you're here to speak for the turtles one way or the other, raise your hand, because I'm going to put you in a group and ask you to pick a... Okay, there's not enough of you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, I'm the second one. My name is Ismael Diepa. I live in 3320 Moss Hammock Wing in St. James. My wife and I have been volunteers since 2016 in the OKI Sea Turtle Protection Program. After 3 years becoming nest parent, more than 780 hours sitting in 12 nests, observing our 15 excavation, we have never seen anyone hurt a turtle. Some of those nests had a crowd of over 250 people. I was not invited to be a volunteer in 2019. I was told, quote, the turtle program is an all-volunteer program, and every year there are several volunteers not invited for various reasons. Hope Sharon is okay. Okay? Thanks for your interest, Jackie, unquote. All North Carolina Sea Turtle Protection Program follow the guidelines of the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. Several turtle protection programs in North Carolina, like Ocean Isle, Sunset, and Wrightsville Beach, either publish the information in their websites or, when requested, will email you the nest location and excavation locations and times. Oak Island chose to restrict the information so secretly that only the program administrator knows where the nests are located and the excavation dates. Nest parents are not permitted to inform people where nests are located or the date of their own nest excavation. The program administration uses scare tactics and peer pressure that have destroyed friendships with this secrecy. I have former close friends not talking to me about anything because of this total issue. Nest parents are not even told where other excavations are going to be because, quote, they will disrupt the other nest operations. The program administrator said last year she did not care about residents, tourists, renters' interest and questions regarding turtles. Her job, quote, her job is not to entertain them, unquote. I do care. Last year, a visitor from Ohio told me she and her family have been coming to Oak Island for 20 years, and they had never been able to see any live turtle. I told her within 45 minutes we were going to have an excavation. She came back with her family. She saw 10 tortoises going.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Teresa Brookover?
Good evening. My name is Teresa Brookover, and I reside at 8212 Mission Road in Jessup, Maryland. My husband and I also own a home on 127 Northeast 31st Street of Oak Island. My husband and I have been coming to Oak Island for family vacations for 7 years and have fallen in love with the beautiful beaches and the friendly people. We started sitting with turtle nests our first year here. We would go to the Oak Island Rec Center every day and check the listing for the nest closest to hatching. Their list included the nest number, date, and location. After we observed turtles hatching one night with our children and our grandchildren, we knew we wanted to live here and be part of this program. Shortly thereafter, we bought our home on the island that we will be retiring to next year. Starting in 2018, the rec center stopped posting the lists of nests, causing visitors to the island to not have the opportunity to find the nests ready to hatch during their 5 to 6 days of vacation. The dates of the excavations are also not posted or announced. Turtle volunteers are told not to divulge any information to anyone for fear of losing their volunteer position. When asked why this information was not posted any longer, the rec center staff told us it was to keep crowds away for the safety of the turtles by recommendation of the North Carolina Turtle Program. OKI beaches are public, and we believe the best way to keep the turtles safe is through education, and what better education than to allow all people, locals and visitors, young and old, to observe the miracle of the hatchings and excavations. An informed and educated public can be a powerful force in promoting the protection of sea turtles. The children and young adults who could experience the turtle hatchings will be the next generation of turtle nest parents. Currently, there's a huge disconnect between the turtle program and the OKI community. We don't understand why anyone in the turtle program would not want to share information to all those interested. I have not heard of one single situation of loud, obnoxious vacationers stomping on baby turtles or disrupting the hatch in any way. If the people in attendance are not aware of the rules, then the volunteers or other visitors often gently remind them. According to the North Carolina Turtle Protection Program, there is no regulation that limits the posting of the nests with the dates to the public, and therefore we, as representatives of all turtle lovers, request that the managers of our Turtle Protection Program please start posting the nests once again. I understand that our town does not control the turtle program managers, but Oak Island budgets town money for their program, and they also utilize our recreation center as their headquarters, so to speak. Please note that other Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Roseanne? Ann Fortner.
The Sea Turtle Protection Program is fantastic. We want to provide a shout out for them in their heroic efforts in managing the nests, the hatches, and the people in this record-breaking season. Unless you've been out there night after night with the heat, the lunar high tides, the wind, and the sand blowing against you, you have no idea what these people are going through on behalf of those turtles. We need to support their efforts and educate people more about the things that are happening there. Our sunbonnets are off to you, sea turtle folks. You're doing awesome work. The Oak Island Beach Preservation Society has had a busy and productive summer, too. Thanks to all our volunteers, visitors, and access parents who participated in events and ongoing care. We've done 3 aquarium programs, 3 farmers markets, and 5 flash sweeps so far. A flash sweep is a 5-minute beach cleanup with amazing results. We have 3 more scheduled. This week's is Thursday, the 15th. At 10 West access at 9 a.m. And the list of the rest of them is over here on the table in a yellow sheet. We have new logo gear this year that was added as for sale as fundraisers. We have personal doggy bag containers because we're responsible for the doggy bag boxes. And we have beach mats so that they're 5 feet long so people can measure the distance between their setup and the emergency accesses. We hope that some of our gear may be available at the Pier Tackle Shop soon. Beach Preservation will again coordinate the International Coastal Cleanup. Mark your calendar, September 21st, Saturday, from 9 to noon, starting at the Cabana. There will be more information on that later. September 21 goes on your calendar. We now have some free products for visitors' use that we didn't have before. They're over here on the table. I won't leave the microphone to show you, but you can take a look at them. Disposable ashtrays for cigarette butts, one of our pet peeves in the dirty dozen of debris on the beach is cigarette butts. So we bought these for the ambassadors to give out to people who are obviously smoking and may need an ashtray. Second, we have an access guide that was developed in conjunction with the Public Works Department, and this tells which accesses have toilets. Whoa, a big important thing to know, right? Which accesses have toilets, which of them have roll-out ramps, which of them have rinsing stations, educational displays, benches, and so forth. Next year, we will add the number of parking spaces by type at each of the accesses. The Beach Lover Patch program has just geared up. That is a booklet of activities for middle school and above that, when successfully completed, will result in a patch with the beautiful logo that beach preservation has had for 22 years. The patch facilitates the learners using observations, data collection, information from the beach environment, and beach preservation displays. We think adults in position of authority may enjoy some of those activities too. We have contracted for a 100-foot accessibility rollout for beach access next to the pier. This is in the works, so watch for that. We'll go, tentatively it's set up to go between the pier and 801. The free items that we're able to give out require an income source. So memberships make up a lot of that, but we have new bike racks available for purchase. There's a flyer on the table. Please take advantage of that possibility for boosting your membership in beach preservation for 5 years and also supporting beach access amenities. Finally, tonight, the Oak Island Beach Preservation Society Incorporated begins with this meeting. We look forward to new and greater adventures in the coming year. Please join us for the ride.
Thank you, Ms. Faulkner. And we actually accidentally gave you 15 more seconds because we had to think too quick. So I didn't want anybody to think we were trying to treat you differently. However, I do want to say to you, our hats are off to the Beach Society Preservation.
Richard Fortner.
My name is Richard Fortner, husband of Roseanne, 113 Paula Circle, Oak Island. And I'm here to thank the council for approving the memorandum of agreement that will allow the Beach Preservation Society Incorporated to continue to collaborate with the town. I think it's important that the public have some insight into what we have been doing this summer with respect to this nonprofit corporation. The Oak Island Beach Preservation Society is a membership-based association dedicated to education and community engagement to enhance the Oak Island beach experience and leave the beach better and safer for everyone now and in the future. It's a noble mission. For some 20 years now, there's been a successful collaboration between the town and the society, although the society has never been incorporated. Based on the 1999 draft of bylaws for the society, it appears that serious consideration was given to forming a nonprofit corporation to handle the affairs of the society at its inception. But some of you will recall that was also a busy time when Oak Island was formed from Yopon Beach and Long Beach. Recently, the society has sought the flexibility to use and accept credit cards in its fundraisers and membership fees and product sales. There's been agreement from both the town management and the BPS board that it might be time to form an independent nonprofit corporation that would qualify as a federal 501c3 tax-exempt organization. This would offer our donors secure knowledge that what they give to us is tax deductible. In May of this year, the BPS board appointed a self-study group to evaluate this prospect of forming a nonprofit corporation. We met with the town manager and town finance director, as well as current and past board members, including founding members of BPS. The study group unanimously agreed to proceed, and we have done that with the state of North Carolina, and were issued our charter July 19th, 2019. We have also attained an employee identification number, or tax ID, from the federal government for the purpose of opening bank accounts, and we have opened bank accounts with a local bank. With the concurrence of town council, we are ready to receive our residual funds and then formally apply to the 501c3 program as a charitable corporation. We look forward to many years of successful collaboration with the town in beach preservation. Finally, under North Carolina law, should the corporation ever disband for whatever reason, any assets that remain flow back to the town of Oak Island for beach preservation. Thank you for your support and look forward to your continued collaboration.
Thank you, sir, for all you've done.
Helen Cashwell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Helen Cashwell, 3407 East Yacht Drive, Oak Island. Let's make tonight's council meaningful and talk about our water supply that we purchased from Brunswick County. Ever since Florence, there's been a noticeable change in that water supply, and why were we the only town in the county that didn't have to boil our water? The current water leaves rings in our bathroom fixtures that have not existed before, and the taste has changed, and not due to the chlorine being flushed to the lines. How often is testing being done, and is it done in the inland canals? One of our council members once tried to budget for DNA testing for the canals due to the pollution that was there then, and all he ever got was a big laugh. Thanks to Lee Hennett and the pilot for the front page article regarding the discharge of the pollutants by our local nuclear power plant. Have any of you talked with the county regarding this issue? And how long do you propose to study the situation? When are you going to have public hearings on that situation, and what can we expect, since we're directly affected by the Cape Fear contamination? Knowing about the local discharge on our beaches has upped the ante. Why haven't we posted that information on the beach so that our citizens are made aware? This could be devastating to our economy. Water is the lifeblood of our existence, and just today, Newark, New Jersey has started handing bottled water out to all of its citizens due to their unsafe drinking water. And who could forget Flint, Michigan? Our environment, water, air, and coastline has reached a critical stage because of the political oversight that's looked after the polluters and not the people. But they've also ignored the environmental laws that have passed to protect us. Don't let that be you. The results are illness, deaths, and economic losses too great to measure. The residents of Oak Island should not have to be concerned that our water source is safe and that the environment is being protected. Thank you. And tonight I challenge each of you to fully investigate and be transparent to us with your feelings, findings, and when you report back to the community.
Thank you, Ms. Catherine.
Pete Key.
Good evening. My name is Peter Key. I live at 5007 East Yacht Drive. I'm going to here tonight to thank the town council and the councilors for their very, very quick response. As president of Brunswick Environmental Action Team, I came across some information concerning the Capital Power plant that is over in Southport Thursday before last, and within 24 hours I had pretty much a unanimous agreement from every councilor and the mayor that they would address this situation as quickly as possible. The information we stumbled across is the article that Lee Hennett published in the Stateport Pilot this past weekend, and I can guarantee He is not done with this issue. What was going on was this power plant over in Southport that uses old chipped up tires, adulterated wood of all types, including old creosote coated railroad ties, and they burn that material in that power plant, and the waste exhaust goes out the chimney, and then the coal, the bottom ash, goes into settlement ponds that are right outside that facility. Twice a year, they flush those 500,000 gallons of water, pump the 500,000 gallons of water off the top of those ponds, and then pick up the coal ash, transport it to another facility where it is stored supposedly safely, and then they rinse out those containment ponds with 17,000 gallons of water. That 17,000 gallons of water washes into the Duke Power drainage canal that goes straight off the ocean off of Caswell Beach, 2,000 feet off of our shore. Very few people, if any, knew what was going on with that, and that is not acceptable. I can't commend you guys enough for how quickly you responded and getting your comments to the state. Just under the goal line because we had no idea we had a goal that we had to beat. I'm going to further ask and request that you guys follow that letter up with a phone call to ensure that a public hearing is held. We have to request one. I believe the letter that was sent did request one, but I want to make sure that they know that we were heard, that we want a public hearing. We want to know what is coming out of that plant. We want to know where it's being discharged, and we want to know what levels it is and how it's going to affect the health of the people of Oak Island and Caswell Beach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Key.
Liz Grimm.
Keeping us informed as
Sorry.
well.
I'm sorry. Liz Grimm.
Good evening. First, I'd like to really quick ask, just to ask really quick, may I have an additional time to represent the other side?
No.
Okay. I
You're
just thought I would
one
ask.
person, unless you've got a
I'll
group of
speak
people.
fast.
If
I'll
you've
speak
got a
back.
group of
Well,
people, I'll let you speak instead of their speaking. speaking in
I
lieu
understand.
of.
I was just going to ask for an extra 8 minutes, but that's okay. I'll talk really fast. We are a sea turtle sanctuary. We receive funding based on our participation with research, which is gathered by our volunteers and turned into state and federal researchers. These groups are NPOs, nonprofits, and are in no way under jurisdiction of any town government entity. They are recognized by state and federal organizations and implement recommendations and rules from those authorities, as do all other turtle organizations in our state responsible for the safety of nests. Our groups are wonderful on this island. They devote thousands of hours each year, and they don't get paid. They are knowledgeable, kind, informative, and most of all, protect baby turtles to ensure their survival. They are not there for anyone's entertainment, nor should they be. It is not our right to witness a boil, just like I don't expect a turtle to walk into my delivery room. You get my drift. They are there for the turtles. Recently, last year, Oak Island stopped posting nest locations. That was a direct recommendation from the state. Many other turtle organizations have never listed sites. Topsail Island, Nest in the Outer Banks, and many others don't and haven't. This doesn't mean it's not available. It just means it's not on a wall on a town building or on any social media. Any information is available by contacting the group or asking a group of volunteers on the beach. It's just not available on social media. I have never had a problem gathering this information from the program or their volunteers. Additionally, I have never had a problem with a volunteer visiting a nest, including with my 3.5-year-old son and a 130-pound Great Dane puppy who many of you know, even when she's off leash, under voice command control. In the past 2 years, there have been more and more inaccurate information being spread, and it all comes from the same source. I don't think that there is a problem. I think it is one person or one group of people's perceived problems, and it's snowballing into a greater issue than it needs to be. The Endangered Species Act protects sea turtles from everyone, even the volunteers. If only one turtle was accidentally harmed because hundreds of people were at the hatch, and not enough turtle folks in Oak Island to control the crowds that may form, it's not worth the risk or the citizen, and our citizens do not want to have to pay taxes that are raised to pay for the additional officers to be on duty every night waiting for patching.
Ms. Grimes, I hate to stop you, but I've got to
I understand.
keep it
And I would like for, if we could all stand and take a moment to recognize and just give the Turtle Program and volunteers the well-deserved recognition that they do deserve, and give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
That's all I have signed up.
Anybody else want to speak before we close the public comments? All right, we're going to go back, now that our attorney's here, welcome Brian. And we're going to go back and start with public hearing number 1. Okay? The purpose of public hearing number 1 is to hear citizens' comments on a request for rezone parcel number 250DA038 from community business, to RMU, residential mixed use, for those that, like me, that don't know the acronyms. Do we have anyone signed up for this? Okay.
Jerry Gordon.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Gordon. I live at 22 Green Mountain Drive, Breckenridge, Colorado. I've lived Oak Island for a lot of years before that. So, okay, that's it. Yeah, I'm requesting, it's a lot behind First Citizen Bank, and it's been zoned mixed use in the past, but from what my understanding, and I was moving toward that, but they changed their zoning away from that back in October, I believe. And I'm trying to get it fixed where I can do mixed use on it, commercial with business mixed. And if you have any questions, please ask me.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Okay, thank you.
Dara Royal.
Darrell Royal, 216 Northeast 47th Street. The request before you tonight to rezone a parcel in the Yopon area classified as thoroughfare commercial from CB to RMU is not supported by the land use plan, and I respectfully encourage you to deny the request. The UDO description for the newly created district RMU that is in your agenda packet is almost a carbon copy of the description of residential mixed use in the future land use section of Chapter 5, Goals and Implementing Actions, in the 2017 Comprehensive Land Use Plan. So a person seeking to understand the intent of this new zoning district could review that section, which begins on page 511 and ends with a future land use map on page 518. It is important to read the entire section. Thoroughfare commercial is also a term in your agenda packet. It is described on page 512 in the future land use section as follows. The land use sector is designed to accommodate the widest range of commercial activities and is established to accommodate
At this time, I'll call the meeting back to order, and we'll move right into the council reports, and I'm going to start with Councilman Bach.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Several quick things. I truly appreciated the action of council, the support of our colleagues in responding to Mr. Key's report about ocean pollution and air pollution. And I want to give kudos to Councilman Scott for leading that initiative. And I do think, as stewards of the environment, we need to be very firm on this. Our experience as a county with Gen X suggests that even when regulated, some of these industries do not take our welfare and our health and our environment in mind. So I also want to congratulate the mayor and others who were directly involved in the Dingle Family Fundraiser. For me, it speaks to the compassionate soul of our community, and it was really heartening to see that. So for those two things, I'm grateful. Thank you.
And that was one of the things I was going to say is I'm eternally grateful to our Oak Island Angels that led that fundraiser for the Dingle family. It was a wonderful night. We thought we were going to get some rain. We did not. The band was awesome. The vendors were awesome. The people were awesome. The Oak Island Angels were awesome. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, have two special guests here tonight. If they'd stand, Caroline and Haley Scott. These are my two granddaughters. And Caroline, she's political. She's the secretary and treasurer of Sternberger School in Greensboro, so she's on her way. You know. Glad to have them this week visiting us. The Friends of Oak Island Parks Incorporated is a new 501c3 that was organized to accept donations that go directly to the Parks and Rec. And we're going to be sponsoring some fundraising events. And this Saturday, we're going to be sponsoring a yard sale. And if you've got unwanted junk or anything else, just get an application from Rebecca at the Parks and Rec. And it's $20 for a car full of anything and a place to park. And we'll be raising money. Our first project is going to be trying to get some shade poles for the splash pad with some triangular shades, and to be able to keep that a little bit cooler than it is. And last Saturday, like my two colleagues have said, this benefit for Mr. Dingle, who died tragically when a wave broke his neck here on the island, just shows that our community just really came together, and it was quite a great event.
6 children they have. Some are theirs, some are adopted, and I don't know the total amount of money, but it was pretty significant, and I think it should go a long way to help the family. So thanks to everybody that participated.
$6,800.
How much?
$6,800.
52, it was 52 cash, plus 980 in checks.
Wow, great. Excellent.
I think everybody said everything about the benefit. It was wonderful. I was there. I thought it made me proud to be a part of the community. It really did. Also, a tip of the hat to the VFW for the new swing down at the VFW Park on Intercoastal Waterway. I'm going to get that prick from my father. I swear I am.
Should. Councilman Weintraub?
Madam Mayor, I'm going to say the same thing the rest of council members did. 34 years ago, my wife introduced me to Long Beach Opine, and I said right then, after I met a bunch of local people, I love this place. And I said, I'm going to move here one day, and we did. Probably a month and a half ago, I was asked to do a radio interview for Brunswick County. My statement was, I love this town. We're the best town in this county. Nobody can compare to us. And after Saturday's actions, to see our community come together the way it did, there's nobody can touch this town. We're one group, one family who work together for the benefit of the good. And I'm proud of our council. When anything happens that's going to harm any of our residents or potential harm to our residents, our council jumps to the feet and defends this town. And I'm proud of everybody, and thank you, Mr. Scott, for leading that way.
Well said, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. My report, they stole all my report, every one of them. But I would like to say that what we did see happen on Saturday night was utterly amazing. And it started about 4 years ago with a tragedy that happened to a local girl, and it started with Ronnie Weinstein, who's a doctor here on Oak Island, and we called it banding together, and it just started as a movement. And anytime that something tragic happens that we can be a part of, I'm not talking about the council, I'm talking about the banding together folks, and the Oak Island Angels, you flip the switch, and that's with Carissa Cope and her Angels. In 2 weeks, she put together an amazing event, and we had some really good local vendors that donated all that they made that came in that night. And Dune Mercantile ended up donating from all their vendors. If you don't know what they are an artsy kind of group, and you go in there and there's different vendors, and it's all handmade and by artisan. And he pulled it together, came to us, said, I want to do it, I'm going to give all the money to the family. And they had amazing stuff. And they did end up getting $2,041. So, you know, I don't know how to thank the community for that, and I certainly would like to recognize the Oak Island Angels group in the future and maybe in another thing. Anyway, moving on to, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second, please. All in favor, show of hands. Thank you very much.
I forgot to raise my hand.
Okay. See, girls, thanks for coming. Did Poppy impress you?
Probably not.
Okay. Committee appointments. The first committee appointment we have tonight is the Board of Adjustments. There are 2 alternate positions, terms ending in March 2022, and we have 1 applicant. Billy Latira, how do you say that, Lisa? Latender. And by show of hands, Billy Latender. Okay, thank you. It's anonymous, Lisa. The second is the Oak Island Environmental Advisory Committee. There's 1 term ending in June 2021. We have 2 applicants. Was Melanie Morgan, show of hands, or Christopher
Reichert.
Reichert. Okay. Unanimous, Mr. Reichert. The next committee appointment is the Planning Board. There are 2 terms ending in August 2022. Kevin Annis, you show hands. Michael Brown. Thank you. And Liz Grimes. And the final one is Hope Vickers. Okay. Did you get that, Lisa?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Administrative reports. Mr. Kelly, we'll start with you.
Yes, ma'am. This time I'd like to introduce our new Pier Complex Manager, Lisa Matisse. Step up here one second. Tell us a little bit about you, maybe. I told her I wouldn't embarrass her, but.
Welcome,
He's changed
Lisa.
his mind, Lisa.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to begin by complimenting the council members for your vision and by acknowledging the town administrators and the town staff for their hard work, dedication in opening the pier. It truly is a town treasure. It's been an honor to join such a strong organization. This is day, I think, 31 or 32 on the job for me. So, each and every day, the folks who are working at the pier are focused on providing outstanding customer service. Every day we hear from town residents and from vacationers about how wonderful the pier is. It's clear that we're restoring memories for many people and creating new memories for the next generation. I'm happy to report to you tonight that during the month of July, more than 1,700 people fished off the pier. And so far this month, the number is 650. That's as of yesterday. 15 people have purchased a season pass. I serve as the complex manager, so I'd like to speak for just a minute about 801. I've received numerous phone calls and emails about the availability of the complex and the event center. We've already scheduled some events for fall, and we're beginning to develop a comprehensive marketing plan. I anticipate with the implementation of that plan that we'll increase our inquiries significantly. I've been spending time with local vendors and with event and wedding planners to introduce the idea that 801 is open again. So I look forward to sharing with you the activities of the pier and about the center in the future. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
David, will we get future reports like she just announced? Can we get that in our package every month as well,
Yes,
please?
you'll start
Statistics.
getting her reports as well.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Great job.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, Lisa.
Councilman Weinkauf had asked about some Powell Bill paving updates. So Scott Thornhill, can you come up?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Just real quick, our paving contract has started. It lulled for a while because we're using the same contractor that DOT used to pave East Oak Island Drive. Right now, we've got almost 2 miles completed. We've got almost another mile prepped and ready. I've been in contact with them almost daily. They're supposed to be back down here this week. They weren't today, they weren't yesterday, so I'm gonna call them again in the morning. Apparently wherever they're at, they're getting more rain than we are, so. But, got this electronically, I've sent it to the manager, so it's got what's done, and there is a couple that we dropped. Now what'll happen with that on next year's or the next resurfacing list, those jump to the top. And the reason for dropping it was that we've got some work to do, that we may have to shift the road one way or the other a little bit, so we didn't want to get fresh new pavement in there and then have to come in and cut it and move it. But that's where we're at right now. I think it's, once we can get them in here, it should not, if they can commit daily, another 3 weeks or so, we should be complete.
They were very fast on Oak Island Drive, so we were pretty impressed.
It's a quick process, and like I say, they've got some prepped and ready to go to where they cut out the bad spots and repatch them, where all they've got to do is just lay down the paver and go. So it'll be a quick process.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll keep on going. Right now, we're going to give you a little bit overview of the After Action Report for Hurricane Florence on September 14th, 2018. On September 14th, 2018, Hurricane Florence impacted the coast of Oak Island in Brunswick County. This after-action report is based on that storm's impact within the town of Oak Island. The purpose of this report is to identify areas of success and improvements for the town of Oak Island's emergency operation plan in regard to preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation for future events. Since Hurricane Florence's path brought it directly through Brunswick County, Oak Island was impacted the most by flooding. The record storm surge was 9 feet above ground level, and the area experienced sustained winds of 90 miles per hour and a maximum reported gust of 105 miles per hour. There was extensive damage, especially in the areas that flooded due to the approximate 26 inches of rainfall recorded on Oak Island. Also, most of our beachfront areas within the town experienced some or significant erosion. Issues and recommendations provided by Town of Oak Island staff outlined areas of concern and success during preparation, response, recovery, and mitigation. All actions followed were in accordance with the Town of Oak Island's Emergency Operation Plan, which was adopted by Oak Island in 2012 and is updated every 4 years. The 2016 version is currently being used. In total, the Town of Oak Island saw approximately $11 million in damages and costs associated with Hurricane Florence. Areas identified to address moving forward include improving public awareness and staff training, improving communications within the town government and with the general public, and centralizing response and recovery resources and facilitating the establishment of emergency aid. Staff is developing a proposal for a new re-entry program. The town's Development Services Department will take the lead in reviewing and/or updating the Town of Oak Island's Emergency Operation Plan, Hurricane Preparedness, Evacuation, and Recovery Plan to include a standardized response from all divisions within the town. These actions will cover preparedness, response, and recovery. The fire chief will work with the Emergency Operations Center to increase the town's emergency support function. Once the EOP is updated, it will be sent to all departments and reviewed during an annual hurricane exercise. Annual training will consist of a complete review of the EOP along with an exercise to review of the communications plan. Communications among staff and the public can always be improved. Areas of improvement include reviewing existing templates for educating the public about what to do before, during, and after the storm, as well as providing tips for the public to secure their homes, and publicizing all of this information through multiple networks. The town should consider investing in additional radios and chargers for large-scale events and extended operations. The feasibility of having a backup virtual server to eliminate interruptions in communication should also be researched. Staff members should be conducting daily briefings throughout the conference or throughout the event and have conference calls during the emergency. And that was the findings of the report.
May I say, at least from my perspective, this was much anticipated. Took a while to get it, but I am very pleased with the report. It has a pragmatic quality to it. So there, in the three components, pre, response, and recovery, there are 31 recommendations. All of them make sense to me. But what struck me the most in reading the report is at the end of each of section concerning the summary, communication was referenced. And there's clearly a communication challenge. So I would suggest, Mr. Kelly, that we invest some of our money in getting a communication plan that rolls out to the public, that what the report calls finding new templates for communicating, that we actually find those. And whether they're digital, or whether they're landlines, or whether they're two-way radios, or whether it's a social media campaign, whether it's an extension of what Development Services already does with hurricane planning. I think we need a broad and bold campaign to bring the public, make the public partners in this process. So I think the report did an excellent job. It pushes us in the right direction. I agree with all the recommendations, but I think we need to really focus on communication.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kelly, are you finished with your report?
Well, currently, I was asked also what are we going to do until we get the new plan or whatever we're going to do for the reentry program. And at this time, at the checkpoint, a person in the car will need to produce proof of residence, such as a valid driver's license, or ownership, such as a recent tax or utility bill, to gain access to the island. Business owners, property owners, and contractors will need to show proof of property ownership and a photo ID to be allowed access to the island. A recent tax or utility bill may also be used to prove that for the property ownership. Utility contractors will have the company's ID badges, and they can be used for access. At that time, or at this time, that's what we currently have in the plan, and that's what we will administer. If you'd like for us to come back with any additional information or suggestions, now's the time.
I think the one element that we really had the most issue with at the last hurricane was who was in the car with you when you come back. I had several incidents where people had their elderly parents, and they didn't have like Oak Island license. So I think that was something we need to address this season.
This will address.
Well, this addresses.
This season.
Yes, ma'am. Well, this address is one person in the car is going to have to be Oak Island resident or property owner.
Just one, yeah, whoever's in the car with you can.
Yeah, the police checkpoint.
How is that going to be, is what the plan for this season and what rules that we follow will be highly publicized and
Yes,
gotten
ma'am.
out to the public? Okay.
Hopefully, we're going to be able to get with Lee and get something broadcasted out, and then we'll get it on all of our media to let people know exactly what will be expected for them to re-entry on the island. And then going forward, we will devise the
We're looking for
revised 2016
some updates.
plan. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
But we're not going to need it this year.
No, ma'am.
No.
Fingers crossed. Does that conclude your report?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Mr. Eads, do you have anything to report?
Yes, ma'am, something very, very exciting.
No way to get here.
Nothing I say. I just want to bring it to the town's council's attention, and you may already know, the General Assembly passed Session Law 2019-111 earlier this summer, which is a total revamp of Article 19 of Chapter 160A. What that means
That means
is,
a lot to me.
I want to explain it, but what that means, and it doesn't become effective until I think January 1 of 2021, but they're taking all the development regulations. Chapter 160A is kind of where municipal attorneys go to find the law applicable to cities and towns, 159 is for counties. They're taking that out, but they're putting it in a brand new chapter called 160D. Again, that becomes effective in January of 2021. We're going to have to update our code of ordinances prior to that date to make sure the reference is no longer to Article 19, 160A. It's to the new Chapter 160D. Staff and I will do that. I'm just letting you know that that's a pretty significant change in the way the law is codified. If you think about it, if you look at our ordinances, most of them refer to the power the General Assembly gave us, right? Well, now that's going from here over here, and it's a nightmare for us, but we'll get it done.
Why?
They are trying to consolidate 160D to be applicable to both cities and
County and-
counties. Yeah. And
Do you know how long tax law has been 160A?
well, it's only Article 19 of 160A.
Okay.
So I told you, it's exciting stuff, guys.
I'm
Extremely.
excited.
The other thing is, and I think it's been added as new business, item 1, on 801 Oceans Event Center. Item number 2. I asked that to be put on. I think we need to pass a real simple resolution authorizing the town manager to enter into these agreements as Ms. Matisse? As Ms. Matisse indicated, we already have some interest coming up this fall. So we just need a simple oral resolution for the minutes to say that the town managers or his designees authorized to enter into these agreements. That's particularly so because this past month, the North Carolina Court of Appeals handed down an opinion that basically threw a city's case out of court because there was no vote of the town council to authorize the prosecution of that case.
So in simple terms, David will be signing the contracts?
We already have the fee, yes ma'am. We already have the fee schedule, so it's just to make sure there's a written document, insurance in place and stuff like that. You know, it'd be a nightmare for everyone to, we hope it stays rented, right? I mean, that's the goal.
Sure.
we don't have to call special meetings every other day to, you know, unless y'all want to.
Could you get here?
I've got a plan for that. I don't know if y'all been in Wilmington from 3:30 on recently, but it's a nightmare, so I think what we're going to start doing is I'll come here at noon. Use one of these conference rooms with my laptop, and that way I don't have to worry about the wonderful Wilmington traffic, so.
There's a rumor going around that you were behind the canceling of that Cape Fear crossing up there.
If I could get a helicopter, I would have one, sir. That's all I have unless y'all have any questions.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh,
Dean.
and we filed the appeal to the North Carolina Supreme Court. So, thank you.
Is that it?
Yes, ma'am, that is it.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, we'll move into the old business, which there is none of. And we're moving on to new business. Number one on new business is the consideration of a release of interest.
It's gonna be me. In years past, if there was a reason to release interest, I always felt that the applicant should be given that consideration. I have spoken with this gentleman and I have spoken with Katie regarding this. This was not a case of addresses that were incorrect and that the town was sending to incorrect people. This was a case of a family-owned lot that the sister was making payments on, and she got sick. The people who ended up with the lot now, after about 4 or 5 months of Katie trying to get them to pay the sewer assessment, have finally paid it as of last month, but they are asking for release of the interest.
And that's $477.64 in your page 54.
Was there a reason they thought they shouldn't have to pay the interest, Sheila?
Because the sister owned the lot and the sister was not making the payments.
Would you like to hear if, is the requestee in the audience by any chance? Okay. All right. Any discussion, further discussion? You have any questions for, no, thank you.
Mr. McDuffie is not here, correct?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Councilwoman Bell. So is there or is there not hardship here? Because that would be the only mitigating circumstance for me under which we would not allow someone to pay their bills.
Such as?
Illness.
The sister did die from cancer.
Okay.
She took ill about 8 months before she died. The sewer assessment was levied in 2010.
Yes, 11.
There were no payments made up until about the last 5 years, and there were $30 here, $50 here. Mr. McDuffie and his wife got the lot. The sister left the lot to them. And I did speak to the attorney that did the closing, asking why, or I think Katie actually called him, but she sent me the statement from them. She called the attorney and asked why there wasn't a deed, whatever you call it. I don't remember what you call it.
Title search.
Yeah. And the applicant requested they not do one because it was family.
Any more questions? Entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion, we deny the release of the interest.
Second that motion.
All in favor by show of hands? It's unanimous. Ms. Kelly, did you have something else you'd like to address before we move forward?
I'll go ahead and let Brian finish, and then I'll do something right after
So
that.
Brian has something you'd like to do?
Brian has the second item on the agenda.
Okay.
It's the lease agreement.
Okay.
Right.
801 lease agreement.
Well, I think we're going to call it an agreement because technically it's just a use agreement. But if I request a motion in a second and a passing of a resolution that authorizes the town manager to enter into agreements with people that want to lease the 801 Ocean Event Center. We already have the fee schedule that's been passed. That will allow the town manager to execute these agreements. And in light of that new case, I don't want someone to say, well, you know, we don't have to abide by the contract because the town manager didn't have the authority from the council to enter into this agreement. So I think the fee schedule enough is okay, but that was a weird case that was handed down by the Court of Appeals, so can't hurt to have it. So, and I can word the motion and y'all can say.
Go for it.
A motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the town manager to enter into agreements for the use of the 801 Oceans Events Center. And, I'm sorry? Someone say something?
There was a helpful suggestion from the audience to add "or his designee."
I thought I said that. I must have said that earlier in my report.
Said it earlier.
Thank you, whoever that was. Town manager.
Probably Lisa.
Town manager and his or her designee.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, please, by show of hands. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I have one more thing, and sorry, Jake, I held you up earlier. Go have Jake come up. Remember we started this many years ago talking about the right-of-way issues? Then we devised a plan. We had handouts. We've had education programs. We sent out newsletters. Jake's going to give you the last step.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are familiar with this topic of right-of-way obstruction enforcement. As David said, we've done all the public engagement and then some that was detailed in the citizen notification plan. I just want to give everyone a heads up. We will now begin enforcement. That is all, unless you have questions.
I actually have a compliment. So at the last meeting, I asked for additional data on your report page, and I see you've included that. I think that's very helpful. So I know there's 149 case inspections, 218 and so on. So thank you for the data. I'm looking at the line for obstruction in the right-of-way, and that still is trending kind of flat, but it sounds as if it's about to take a big uptick.
It's been flat for a reason. Yeah, I was very happy with this month's numbers. They were maybe the highest we've ever had, or if not the highest, very close to it.
Thank you for providing them. It gives us a real snapshot.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jay. All right, I have been told there is no need for a closed session tonight, so at this time I will entertain a motion to close the town hall meeting, August 13th, 2019.
So moved, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? Show of hands. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.